way to start a horse off with hoops is to teach him all about mats first. So if he's happy to target a mat with his front feet, then you've already got him halfway there, because he's looking for somewhere specific to put his feet, which after all is everything we do with horses all the time. We want to be in charge of where they put their feet, and we would prefer if they would do that willingly. So I'm asking Boots to back off the mat, and then I'm going to ask her to step forward onto the mat again. So she's allowing me to be in charge of her feet, and then we'll walk off the mat together. It's a demo of the kind of hoop I used when I start training. A piece of dowling and some water pipe, which means that if the horse gets it jammed in his legs, it will come apart and be much safer. So once we know about the mat, we can put the hoop on top of the mat, and you can see there she wasn't really expecting the hoop. This time she's a bit more aware that it's there and makes a bit more of an effort to step actually into the hoop. I put my foot on it to keep it still so I can ask her to back out. And that time absolutely perfect, didn't touch it at all. So I give her a treat, and then I come around and I give her a triple treat, which is for a very special effort, and also it gives the horse a little bit of a break from the focus of the training that we're doing. And then it's just as tricky to step out of the hoop cleanly. And there you can see she's pausing, and it's not because she doesn't want to, it's because she's thinking of how she's going to move those feet. And there's just a tiny touch to the hoop, which is pretty good. Now there are a variety of things we can do with the hoop. Obviously we want the horse to step into it cleanly like that. And we'd really like it if they could step out of it cleanly as well, which she did there. And we can ask the horse to just wait quietly, standing with his feet in the hoop. We want to teach the approach from the left eye and from the right eye, so he's confident either direction. Next we can ask him to halt before we get to the hoop. We can wait a short time or a longer time and then ask to go forward into the hoop. We don't want the horse to think that as soon as he sees the hoop, he's got to rush over and step into it. So again, right eye and left eye. And here, before we walk into the hoop, we back up a couple of steps. You'll notice I've got a second hoop over there, which I'm basically teaching you to ignore because I'm not putting any focus on it. Another thing we can do is to just walk a little circle around the hoop before we head to it, and notice that in that circle I'm between the horse and the hoop until I bring her around to stand in it. And this time I've got the horse between me and the hoop, and I don't want her to step into the hoop until I actually give her the signal to do so. So again, it stops that tendency to take over and do what they think is the right thing to do, but to actually listen to our specific signals all the time. And then we're going to ask for a nice tidy walk out of the hoop. And I try to give her a click and a treat whenever she does a clean entry and exit to the hoop. If she doesn't, I basically just reset and ignore the mistake. Now we're doing an approach to the hoop, which is slightly more complex. We're going to start with a bigger circle and see how she's ignoring that one because I hadn't put any intent to it. And we're going to spiral in to the pink hoop. Just take our time. She's definitely focused on what's happening. And then I give her the signal to please put your feet in the hoop. And although she did touch it there, because we'd done something new, which was the spiral, I did give her a click and a treat at the completion of the spiral, and then ask her to step out. And she knocked it there, so I didn't give her a click and a treat. Another thing we can do is to put ourselves in the hoop and ask the horse to just walk a little circle around us. If it's part of our repertoire, we can ask for transitions. Walk, halt, and walk, trot, and trot, halt. And there we've asked for a halt. Now while we're standing in the hoop, we can ask the horse to move its hind end away and then ask it to do a back up while we keep our feet still inside the hoop. Then we can step back and draw the horse toward us, which is leading position 7. And although she knocked the hoop there, because she came forward so nicely, I still gave her a click and a treat. And with the horse standing confidently with the front feet in the hoop, we can begin to ask for a bit of a turn on the forehand. Notice I'm just asking one step at a time and then releasing the pressure. One step at a time, and there I could either take her away and reset the whole exercise, or I can very quietly ask her to correct herself. And because we've done a lot of this, she understands the correction. If she didn't understand the correction, I would have walked away and started again. So I'm putting a little bit more energy there and asking for more steps, but that's only because we've done this a little bit already, and there we needed a correction, and she was able to correct herself without having to reset the whole task. Again from the other eye, just asking for one step. It's really good not to hurry this sort of work, because if the horse gets flustered or gets too confused or anxious, then there's no way they're going to be able to be clean with the hoop. Even Boots, who's trying really hard here, finds it pretty hard. I think it's not easy for the horse to see where the hoop is. So if 2 steps is too much, go back to asking for just 1 step until the horse is really, really confident with that. And then go to 2 steps and take as many sessions as it needs. And I would never do more than I'm actually showing here today, because it's hard work for the horse, hard focusing. If you don't want to use click and treat, just simply relax your energy each time and give the horse a bit of breathing space. Another thing we can do is bring the horse to stand in the hoop. And this is an agility task quite often, is to either walk or run to the end of the rope and walk and run back, sometimes waiting at the end of the rope, and walk or run right around the whole horse. Now I'm going to be in leading position 7, which is in front of the horse facing it, and ask her to back out of the hoop. And you see there's a bit of a problem with that. We haven't really done this before, so it's a bit of a learning exercise for us here. Ask her to come back in from the same leading position, and this time I put my foot on the hoop just to keep it steady, to give her a bit more confidence. And one more time. Now this time I'm going to ask her to leave the hoop by stepping sideways, something we've never done before. So she understands to go sideways. Has trouble knowing where the hoop is, but that was pretty good.